achieving the endurance racing quad crown and winning on 5 continents. Hello, my name is David Pittard. I'm a Nürburgring champion, international racing driver, driver coach with over 20 years experience in the motorsport industry, as well as all-round petrol head. Today we're going to talk about my aims and aspirations as a racing driver going forward. I've been in this game for 20 years now, but what is still driving me going forward? This is a continuation of the series, looking at my background and my future, so make sure you're subscribed to not miss a thing. Today we're going to look at what drives me going forward. We've spoken a lot about, in previous episodes, my past, but this is what drives me and keeps me going, my aspirations for my career. So you've heard of the Motorsport Triple Crown, winning 3 of the most prestigious events in the world. They comprise of the Monaco Grand Prix, the Le Mans 24 Hours and the Indy 500. Or you've heard of the Endurance Triple Crown, which is the 24 Hours of Daytona, the 12 Hours of Sebring and the 24 Hours of Le Mans. More of an American thing. At the top of my win list is my Endurance Quadruple Crown. These are the 4 biggest endurance races around the world that I see as the most important to win as an endurance racing driver. And they comprise of the Daytona 24 Hours, the Nürburgring 24 Hours, Le Mans 24 Hours and Spa 24 Hours. Starting with the Daytona 24 Hours, the biggest 24-hour race in America. It's a very unique race in comparison to a lot of European races, where I believe a lot of the major races are, because of the amount of cautions that the Americans seem to throw. It means that you can be out of it from a long way back, but use the cautions and the wave arounds that the American rules use to bring you back into it. It's a very unique course as well, as majority of the circuit is flat out around the banking, yet there's a very tight and twisty infield, which makes the setup very, very tricky to get the correct compromise and also put together a winning car. And also at the end of it, you get yourself a Rolex. And second on my list of my quad crown is the Nürburgring 24 Hours, regarded as the hardest of the 24 hours to win. So many variables can change for this event, which probably makes it why it's so tricky. For one is the circuit itself, 25 kilometers long, so much undulation and change. It is the toughest track in the world to learn, to be fast on, to be safe on for 24 hours. Number 2 is the traffic. The amount of cars in the race is unmatched by any other race, I believe, in the world. 150 plus cars enter this race very regularly, year on year, ranging from the top level GT3 teams and GT3 cars, all the way down to your Opel Manta from the 1980s, VW Golfs, Renault Clios, and everything in between. That means that none of the laps are completely clear, meaning you have to be quick in traffic, safe in traffic, as well as being fast out of blocks as well. The weather is also something to contend with. Being in the Eiffel Mountains, it's so unpredictable. We can have 40 degrees on one day and then have snow showers the next day. No joke, that is how the Eiffel weather works here in Germany. The Le Mans 24 Hours. This goes without saying, it's the most prestigious 24-hour event in the world. It's an event which is known by not only race fans, but everyone around the world has heard of the prestigious Le Mans 24-hour race. This is what makes it a part of my quadruple crown, as you're pitting yourself against the best technology, the best cars, the best teams, the best drivers in all 4 classes that Le Mans comprises of, and it's definitely up there on the race to win in an endurance racing career. And the final race of my endurance racing quadruple crown is the Spa 24 Hours, arguably the most competitive race of the 4 races that I've mentioned, with all of the same class cars, with the same and very similar performance competing. The top 30 are normally covered by just 1 second in qualifying, meaning you have to be on it every single lap of the race. What are your bucket list events that you would love to compete, spectate or win at? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know what everyone's thoughts are from around the world. On to part 2 of what I want to win in my motorsport career, and that is winning on 5 continents. First of all, defining the continents of Africa, America, Australia, Europe and Asia. Part 1 of my 5 continents is Africa, and the event there is the Kyalami 9 Hours. The event was recently rejuvenated by the SRO group as part of the Intercontinental GT Challenge Championship, and I finished 6th there in 2020, and I hope to be back there to be back on top of the podium and take home the legendary Kyalami trophy. Continent number 2 on my list is America. America has such a rich sports car heritage that there are many events that I'd love to win there. As previously mentioned, the Daytona 24 Hours would be awesome, Sebring 12 Hours would be amazing as well, Petit Le Mans and Laguna Seca are the circuits that really stand out to me that's of endurance racing classics that I'd love to win there. In my career so far, I've raced in America twice, once in the Miami Homestead Sunset 300, finishing second in class, and also in the Intercontinental GT Challenge Championship at Indianapolis, finishing second as well. So I've definitely got to go back to America and make sure I can get the top spot next time. Asia. Asia is a huge place and it has some amazing circuits and championships. The likes of legendary circuits of Suzuka, Fuji and Twin Ring Motegi, as well as coupled with the newer circuits which are coming to force in Malaysia at Sepang and also in the Middle East, the UAE, of Dubai and Yas Marina. Dubai 24 Hours really stands out as the biggest 24-hour event in Asia that I would love to win as well. But again, ticking off one of those major events at one of those circuits in Asia would tick the box for me. The third continent is Europe, obviously primarily where I've been based and where I've grown my career. I've won numerous major races here and this is definitely ticked in my box of winning on this continent. And finally coming to Australia. Australia has such a rich motorsport heritage as well, primarily focused at the Australian V8 Supercar Championship, which is an absolutely awesome championship to spectate, and any racing driver that I've ever spoken to has always said I'd love to be a part of that championship. For me, the Bathurst 12 Hours would be amazing to win from a GT point of view, but also the Bathurst 1000k is just a legendary event from a worldwide perspective, and even to compete in that as a co-driver would be a dream tick for me. And finally, in my list of objectives to achieve is to be the best in Europe and America. In my opinion, the two championships that are the most competitive in Europe and America right now, in Europe is the GT World Challenge Championship, and that comprises of the sprint and endurance element. The sprint championship is hugely competitive. Just single 1 hour races, split between two drivers. Qualifying is normally covered, again, the top 30 cars by less than a second. It's so competitive and you have to be so on it there against some of the best GT drivers in the world. I do enjoy the sprint race format as well, the fact that it's only 1 hour, which means that you can take more risk and hang more out in terms of a driver to make a gap, rather than in more of the endurance element, having to be more patient and thinking about that 24-hour part of the endurance event. However, the GT World Challenge event is comprised of the sprint and endurance element, which means that you have to take that pace and that aggressiveness from the sprint championship, but then transfer it over into longer races shared with more teammates over longer durations as well. So it takes a slightly different mindset whilst trying to apply and achieve the same thing of speed, consistency, safety and winning those major events. The two championships combined give you an overall champion, and that is what I would love to win, being considered the best in sprint and endurance element in Europe in GT3 cars. Over in America, the IMSA Championship is the sports car championship to win over there. It's followed massively by so many people in America and around the world, and as mentioned, it has some legendary events that make up its calendar. So to piece all of those events together as a championship whilst travelling all over America and racing at these old school legendary circuits that America has, that would be a dream tick on my box to be the IMSA champion. It's been a long, hard slog from when I started to where I am at now. And even at the late end of my 20s, I'm just starting to get the opportunities that I want and need at these major events to start building experience and learning about these events. Yes, you can jump into these events first time and win, but so much has to come together for that to happen, for you to be lucky enough to make that happen. Examples are the Bathurst 12 Hour. Even though I haven't driven it yet, I attended the race last year following the BMW team very closely. From that I could see how the track progressed through the weekend, how you can't suddenly start chasing the car, chasing times, chasing the track in those first couple of days where Bathurst is a public road, the circuit gets rubbered in. All of the dust and grit and dirt is slowly taken away from the circuit by the cars driving out on circuit. The rubber is put down onto the track, meaning that it grips up more and more and more. And I saw a couple of people make some major mistakes on the first couple of days by pushing too hard too soon, and Bathurst is not a forgiving place. This place does not have tyre walls, let alone runoff. It has concrete barriers backed by solid earth banks, and a car does not come off very well once it goes in the back there. Other things like Nürburgring 24 hours, you have to manage the traffic around there. You can't just be fast over one clear lap there. There's no such thing as a clear lap around that circuit. And Spa 24 hours, you have to build a car that is capable of being fast outright, but also fast in traffic. You're always going to be racing against very similar class cars at Spa, so you're never going to have a big performance advantage in any given place. So you have to build a car that can follow well in the aero wash of the car ahead, even if you're just trying to unlap yourself on a car. If you can lap that car quicker, that's going to hold you up much less and give you a much better race. These are all the individual things that you learn over competing in these events or attending these events that I hope to put into good practice so I can stand on that top spot in the future. So where I'm actually at in my career, when you look at my big long list of achievements that I want to make, I've only made a small dent in it, which means I'm just getting started. That's the cool thing, being part of the BMW program where I am at the moment with Volkenhorst. I really see big things for the future, especially in GT racing, so I'm hugely excited to start ticking those objectives off my list. As mentioned, I've ticked off the stuff in Europe so far. I've had the chance to compete in Africa and America, but I still haven't managed to get to the top spot, so there's a good excuse to go back there and try and make that top spot. That's what keeps me focused and going after 20 years in this motorsport game. I eat, sleep and drink motorsport, and those are my goals that I wake up to every morning, and that's what I'm working towards every single morning when I get up, to develop myself as a better driver, on track, off track, and everything that's going to make me into a true professional and achieve everything I want to. I hope you enjoyed this video about what drives me. These are the objectives that I'm working towards every day, and gives you an idea of the scale that I'm working towards to try and be one of the best. Please let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your opinions on what your bucket list races are as a competitor or as a spectator or as a general motorsport enthusiast. I'm working towards my objectives that I listed earlier on every single day, so I hope this channel will be able to document working towards them and then achieving those objectives, so make sure you stay subscribed for those to come. In the meantime, whilst you're on the channel, please make sure you check out this classic onboard down here. Definitely check out this video of me showing you around my BMW M6 at my first attempt at the Spa 24 hours, and stay subscribed up here. Until next time, bis dann.